All right, Corey. Let's get into these final two topics. These two players, Bryce James, Alijah Arenas. Obviously, Alijah just reclassed yesterday, and Gilbert has been on the record saying that he thinks he should go G League and just get straight to the league as fast as possible. But there's also a lot of hesitation in that because it's ultimately not his decision. It is his son's decision. And if he wants to go play for a school, then he's going to go play for a school. And I think one of those schools is obviously going to be Arizona. They are very interested in Alijah. They're also interested in Bryce, but they've got a couple other, good prospects out there as well. Like Koa Pete's one of them. Bryce Burris is good too. I would love either combination of those guys. I'd be cool with. Now, let's start with Bryce. Here's my unfiltered opinion of Bryce James. I think he's a project. I think it's going to take him a little bit of time to develop the athleticism or the physical traits necessary to compete at a very high level. I think he has some good traits that are discernible. And I think, he's 6'6". You're hoping that he's going to continue to grow. He's got some athletic ability, but I think he's got too many weaknesses right now to perform straight off the bat in the Division I high level like Arizona would expect of their players. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to take a look at Bryce, but what do you think, Corey?
He ain't it, bro. Nah, you real nice and real polite, and I get what you're saying, but I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, man. Your daddy's a billionaire. You good, man. No, man. Bryce, I've seen him play. I've watched his games. He's not a Power 5 player. He's 6'4", maybe 190. He has no guard skills. He really can't shoot off the dribble. Like, at his height, his package should be way different talent-wise than what it is. He plays like a 4, but he's 6'4". And I don't know anything about the kid personally, but when I watch his game, I'm thinking, my God, he's not a high-level Division I perimeter player. And anybody who tells you that he is lying to you.
Yeah.
Now, there will be people that offer him. He will definitely be a collegiate player. I think he's got a great motor. God knows he comes from a wonderful family, and I'm sure he's a pleasurable kid to be around. But when you look at his skill set for 6'4", 190, if I'm an NBA scout, if I'm a college recruiter, if I'm a college scout, I'm not putting my job on the line telling somebody that that's a 2-guard, because that's not a 2-guard. And it shouldn't be a controversy to say that. He's a very talented, athletic kid, but he doesn't have shooting guard skills for his height. So now you're looking at, is he a mid-major kid? Yeah, I think he could be a mid-major kid. I think he could be a solid college player. I tell kids all the time, play as much and for as long as you can, because when you get old like me and you stop bouncing the ball, it's over. So I would never tell a kid not to play. I would never tell a kid not to shoot for the stars. But at the same time, you ask me an honest question, I'll tell you a joke, but I ain't gonna tell you a lie. He's not it, bro. Not for Arizona. Not at all.
Yeah. I feel the same way. I would say this: if you wanted to stash him, for 4 years and give him the opportunity to develop, maybe I could be convinced of that. But again, you're sacrificing a scholarship that could potentially be used somewhere else. So I don't know about that. I know he has a extreme interest from Ohio State, but Ohio State, that's LeBron's hood and all that stuff. And, it is what it is. I agree with you. I think if he was anybody else, you're looking, hell, I don't even know if mid-major would even be it, because listen, he went to the Peach Jam, averaged 6 points a game. Right now, as we speak, he's averaging 7 points a game. He's not averaging a single rebound. And he's only getting 13 minutes of burn every game at Sierra Canyon. Like, if you're a high school prospect and you're only getting 13 minutes a game, that at any other place we wouldn't even be talking about you whatsoever. But hey, you're LeBron James.
I'm gonna give you a name right now. He was an afterthought. He was a guy. Arizona was done recruiting, and they brought him in. I think it might have been Pastner. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. Jordan Hill. Nobody had ever heard of him. lanky project player out of Georgia, Atlanta, country guy. I remember 2 days after he was here, I picked him up and brought him down to the Pro-Am. Jordan Hill was raw, but he was 6'9". He was athletic. And by the time those dreads got through bouncing on the court at Arizona, he was a lottery pick. Nobody saw Jordan Hill coming. They can't lie and say that they knew Jordan Hill was going to be Jordan Hill, but he developed. Bryce ain't no Jordan Hill, bro. He's not no project like that. He's not no Eugene Edgerson who's going to be a banger or a thug, or no Jesse Perry in the paint. Like, he's not going to be one of them throwback inside power forward type dudes. He's not a two guard. I don't know where he would fit in. And to be honest with you, if Arizona's giving out scholarships to guys that are scoring 7 points a game in high school, then I got some serious questions. I'm going to drive down to McKale tomorrow and have a conversation. They're going to have to talk to me, because scholarships was about 25 points a game 30 years ago, and they've been that ever since. And we can't start giving out scholarships to 7 points a game. I don't care who his dad is. And it is what it is.
Let's talk about somebody that's averaging 31 points a game. How about that?
Now we in my price range. Now we in the neighborhood.
Now let's sweeten the pot a little bit. Let's talk about Alijah Arenas. Obviously, we know his dad. His dad was a hooper, major baller, could have been a Hall of Famer. It had not been for the knee injuries and maybe the old gat. But hey. But listen, Gilbert Arenas, one of the best shooters in terms of his heat you've ever come. Gave Kobe the business, and now his son Alijah reclasses. He will be eligible next season. And listen, Alijah has got game without a doubt. One of the top prospects in the country. He could do it. He could dribble. He could handle. He could shoot. He could drive. To me, he's one of the best guards in the country for a reason. What do you think about his game, Corey?
Now we talking about actual hooper. A cat with a package. He got the long arm, the wingspan. He's an athlete. You know he stays in the gym because his old man is not going to let him slack on the fundamentals. Oh, yeah. Gilbert Arenas, for as much as he's a laid-back type of guy, he loves hoop. He's passionate about hoop. He's been at the highest levels. He's been around great coaches. He's pouring all that into this young man. So whether he goes G League or comes to school, you're going to have a kid that's laser focused on being a winner, because his dad was a winner. His dad was he cover 2K one year, I think? Yeah. I mean, come on. How many guys' dads was on the cover of 2K? Like, Gilbert was a machine. So I know his son comes from good athletic stock. I'm sure he has an entourage and a gazillion social media followers, and there's probably a little bit of a media circus that comes with him. But now we're talking about a hooper. 6'6", 197, can jump out the gym. He got a 3-ball. Man, when they get him in the weight room and get him on that bench press and them lats and them curls and get some muscle around his chest and arms, that boy going to be a problem. That's Arizona talent right there. We get our hands on him. In a dream world, we get a kid like that for 2 years. But, coming in as a freshman, letting him get after things. If a guy like KJ Lewis is around who can show him the ropes and bring him along, Carter's still here, man, that's an athletic front court right there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, I tell you what, think about this.
Wingspan, athleticism, they're going to get after a lot of people.
You lose Caleb Love and you get Alijah Arenas and you team him up with Jaden Bradley, KJ Lewis, Carter Bryant, and possibly Koa Pete. Let's go.
Now we cooking.
Oh, now man, then you're right back in it. You know what I mean?
And you got guys who don't need to be – you got guys that can go out and play 94 feet man-to-man. You got wingspan. You got deflections. You got blocks. You got steals. You got dunks. You got threes. You need some solid bigs to round it out. But you're not stepping on the court lacking talent any night all next season if you somehow pull that off.
And I think that's where Tommy Lloyd is going to start to pivot. Is I think he's going to find that balance of high level, All-American, stud freshman with, like you said, like you need to round out your roster somehow. The transfer portal is where you go to round out your roster. Get some qualified veterans that could come in here, plug and play while you try to figure out everything. I mean, to me, that would be a dream scenario. The thing I love about Arenas too is like you can see even in those clips, like he has multiple moves. Like some guys, like we were talking about Cooper the other day, where I felt like when he gets stuck sometimes, he likes to go to that spin move, right? Alijah, you don't know where he's going to go because he's got so many moves in his bag. That's what I like. I like to see a little versatility. And when you get stuck going left, what are you going to do? Well, he's got the behind the back. He can go between the legs. He can cross you up. He can take you to the hole. He can pull up. He can step back for a three. Like he's got a lot of versatility in his game, and I love to see that. And so putting him on, a McKale center floor would just be fantastic. And listen, man, like the legacy with his dad. I gotta say this though, and I hope Gilbert sees this at some point, because every time I mention Gilbert Arenas to a guy I worked with, a friend of mine by the name of Brett Hansen, I don't know if I've ever seen anybody just be like, just take a deep breath, because Gilbert was just wild, man. He's just wild. And I just, I always get a chuckle out of that. I don't think his son is quite the same way, because his son seems a little bit more reserved than Gilbert was. But man, it'd be nice to have another Arenas back on the court for sure.
It would. And, Gil will be the first to tell you he was foolish and immature in his youth, and he pulled a lot of pranks. Even in his first few years in the NBA, the stories are outrageous, and he'll tell them on his own podcast. He has no shame. But I think he probably is a lot older and wiser now, and his son's probably a little bit different because he's his own person. But like I said, the atmosphere of being a basketball junkie, learning the sport the right way, being effective, that young man's getting guidance that, virtually no kid in high school gets. Nobody has a guy like, most kids don't have a guy like Gilbert Arenas as their dad, making them get up 400 shots before they go to school.
600.
And even 600 shots. Well, even the kids that do, they're not getting the knowledge and the instinct that Gil's pouring into them. So would I love to see him in a Wildcat jersey? Absolutely. I think it would be great. It'd be a throwback to have, the son of Wildcat royalty suiting up in Tucson. And that's what you want. You want a program with a legacy, with a foundation, with a history. The transfer portal's changed all that. Every coach is scrambling every year to bring in mercenaries and hired guns to wear the jersey for a year or two and hope to win now. But to have somebody with a connection to the U of A and a connection to Tucson, that would be special. No doubt about it.